Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Susan Parker, urologist and men's health specialist. And today, we're going to have a very direct, very honest conversation about something that quietly drains male vitality long before most men realize what's happening. The foods that sabotage your testosterone levels day after day. If you're over 40, and especially if you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, this message is for you. Because what you put on your plate 3 times a day can either support your hormones or slowly shut them down. For years, many men have been told that feeling tired, losing muscle, gaining belly fat, and noticing a decline in confidence and drive is just normal aging. But that's only a half-truth. Yes, testosterone naturally declines with age, but the speed and severity of that decline are profoundly influenced by lifestyle, particularly by what you eat. And the encouraging reality is this: just as certain foods drag your hormone levels down, changing those foods can help your body recover a healthier hormonal balance, support your energy, and protect your long-term vitality. In this video, I want to walk you through 5 specific foods and food categories that quietly damage testosterone over time. These aren't rare ingredients you've never heard of. In fact, they're probably in your kitchen right now. Some of them are marketed as harmless or even healthy, yet your body experiences them very differently. As a urologist, I see the consequences every week. Men who feel older than they are, who struggle with weight around the midsection, who feel their motivation slipping, and who blame age when one of the main culprits is on their plate or in their glass. My goal here is not to scare you, but to give you clear, practical understanding so you can make better choices. I'm going to explain what each of these foods does inside your body, how it affects hormones like testosterone and insulin, and how those changes show up in everyday life. Your energy, your mood, your strength, your focus, and your intimate confidence. Most importantly, I'm also going to give you realistic alternatives, simple swaps that don't require extreme diets or deprivation, just smarter decisions that work with your biology instead of against it. Let's begin with one of the most common offenders and one of the easiest to overlook, because it often comes in a can, a bottle, or a healthy-looking carton. I'm talking about sugary drinks and beverages loaded with added sugar. This includes sodas, energy drinks, sweetened teas, flavored coffees, bottled juices, and even many so-called sports drinks. When you drink these, you're essentially delivering a rapid flood of sugar into your bloodstream. Your pancreas responds by releasing a large amount of insulin to bring that sugar down. When this happens once in a while, your body can handle it. But when it happens day after day, week after week, your cells become less sensitive to insulin. This is the beginning of insulin resistance, and that is terrible news for testosterone. Insulin resistance pushes the body towards storing more fat, especially around the abdomen. That belly fat is not just extra weight. It's metabolically active tissue that converts testosterone into estrogen-like compounds. The more abdominal fat you accumulate, the more testosterone gets transformed, and the less is available to support your vitality. Over time, men who live on sugary drinks often notice they're more tired after meals. They gain weight even when they don't feel like they're overeating, and they lose that sharp feeling of being switched on and strong. Many don't realize that their daily soft drink habit is directly undermining their hormonal health. To make this practical, I want you to imagine your day. Maybe you start with a sweetened coffee, have a soda at lunch, and a sweet tea or juice in the afternoon. It doesn't feel extreme, but your hormone system experiences this as repeated stress. If you want to protect your testosterone, one of the most powerful things you can do is reduce or eliminate sugary beverages. Replace them with water, sparkling water with lemon or lime, unsweetened tea, or black coffee in moderate amounts. Your body responds quickly when you stop drowning it in liquid sugar. Many men who cut sugary drinks for a few weeks notice more stable energy, less bloating, and over time, an easier path to losing abdominal fat, which directly supports healthier testosterone levels. The second category I want to talk about is refined carbohydrates and ultra-processed baked goods. Things like white bread, pastries, donuts, cookies, crackers, and many breakfast cereals. These foods might not taste as blatantly sweet as soda, but your body quickly breaks them down into sugar all the same. They produce the same spikes in blood sugar and insulin, and they feed the same cycle of fat storage around the abdomen. That metabolic loop, spike, crash, cravings, more refined carbs, is one of the fastest ways to move from stable hormonal health toward low testosterone and sluggish metabolism. There's another layer here. Many ultra-processed baked goods are not only high in refined flour, but also in unhealthy fats, additives, and preservatives. Your body experiences these products as a stressor. Chronic, low-level inflammation follows, and inflammation is one of the quiet enemies of hormone balance. When inflammation goes up, testosterone often goes down. Men who rely heavily on these foods frequently feel like they're constantly hungry, even shortly after eating. They report afternoon crashes, irritability, and the feeling that their clothes get tighter every year, even if they haven't changed much in their routine. This is not just about willpower, it's about the way these foods hijack your biochemistry. So what can you do instead? Start by upgrading your staples. Swap white bread for whole grain or sprouted bread in modest portions. Replace sugary breakfast cereals with oats, Greek yogurt, or eggs combined with vegetables. If you enjoy something sweet, choose fruit combined with a source of protein or healthy fat, like nuts instead of pastries. When you make these swaps, you stabilize your blood sugar, ease the load on your insulin system, and reduce the accumulation of belly fat. Over time, this helps your body maintain a more favorable environment for testosterone production. The third food category that quietly sabotages male hormone health is excessive alcohol, particularly daily drinking and binge drinking. A casual drink in social settings is one thing. Chronic or heavy use is something else entirely. Alcohol places a significant detoxification burden on the liver. The liver is not only responsible for processing toxins, it also plays a key role in regulating hormones, including testosterone and estrogen. When the liver is overwhelmed by regular alcohol intake, it becomes less efficient at maintaining that delicate balance. As a result, testosterone levels can fall and estrogen-like effects can rise. Alcohol also directly affects the testes, where testosterone is produced. Chronic heavy drinking can impair the cells responsible for making testosterone, shrink testicular tissue, and impair the communication between the brain and the hormone-producing glands. On the outside, this may look like gradual weight gain, reduced muscle mass, lower motivation to exercise, disrupted sleep, and a reduced sense of confidence or drive. Many men chalk this up to getting older, but their evening drinks are quietly feeding the problem. If you recognize yourself here, maybe a few beers every night, or a regular pattern of weekend excess, I want you to know that your body has an impressive capacity to rebound when you change course. You don't have to become a strict abstainer if that doesn't fit your life, but cutting back makes a real difference. Aim for alcohol-free days during the week, limit the total number of drinks, and avoid using alcohol as a sleep aid. Ironically, while it may make you feel drowsy, it fragments deep sleep, which is exactly when your body produces the most testosterone. When you protect your sleep, you protect your hormones. The fourth major category is processed meats and highly salted, chemical-laden meat products. Think hot dogs, many sausages, deli meats, bacon in large daily quantities, and packaged meat snacks full of additives. Many men see these foods as a source of protein, and protein is indeed important for testosterone and muscle maintenance. But the problem is not the protein itself, It's everything that comes packaged with it in these ultra-processed versions. These foods are often high in saturated fats of poor quality, excess sodium, nitrates, nitrites, and other preservatives. Over time, they contribute to inflammation, high blood pressure, and reduced vascular health. Why does this matter for testosterone? Because your hormone system does not operate in isolation. Healthy testosterone requires good circulation, a healthy cardiovascular system, and a body that is not constantly in an inflammatory state. Inflammation and poor blood flow send signals to your brain and endocrine system that the body is under stress. When the body senses chronic stress, it tends to prioritize survival functions over reproductive and vitality-related functions. Testosterone often takes a back seat. Men who overconsume processed meats may notice rising blood pressure, more difficulty recovering from exercise, and a general heaviness or stiffness in the body, all of which correlate with declining hormonal resilience. Instead of relying on these processed meats, begin to recenter your meals around cleaner protein sources, lean cuts of beef, poultry, fish, eggs, and plant-based protein options like beans and lentils if you tolerate them well. When you do enjoy processed meats, treat them as an occasional indulgence, not a daily staple. Flavor your foods with herbs, spices, olive oil, and fresh ingredients instead of depending on prepackaged products. This shift supports lower inflammation, better circulation, and a more favorable environment for testosterone. The fifth and final category I want to highlight is deep-fried fast foods and products rich in trans fats, or repeatedly heated industrial oils. These include many fast food fries, fried chicken, some packaged snacks, and items that are cooked in large vats of oil that are reheated countless times. These oils, especially when they're overheated and reused, become oxidized. Oxidized fats generate free radicals and promote inflammation throughout the body. Once again, we come back to inflammation, because it is a recurring theme in hormone disruption. High intake of these unhealthy fats is linked to weight gain, insulin resistance, and damage to the blood vessels. For male hormone health, that combination is particularly harmful. Testosterone thrives in a body where cells are responsive to insulin, blood vessels are flexible and healthy, and inflammation is kept in check. Deep-fried foods and trans fats push you in the opposite direction. Over time, men who live on drive-through meals often report constant fatigue, reduced stamina, brain fog, and loss of physical confidence. These are not just busy life symptoms. They are often the outward signs of an internal environment that does not support healthy testosterone. To turn this around, prioritize healthier fats: avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and moderate amounts of butter or ghee if you tolerate dairy. Choose grilled, baked, or lightly sautéed foods instead of fried options. When you do eat out, look for menu items that are roasted, steamed, or prepared with simple ingredients. These choices may seem small in the moment, but they protect your cells, your blood vessels, and your hormone-producing tissues over time. Now, you might be wondering, Doctor, if I've been eating these foods for years, is it too late for me? This is one of the most common questions I hear from men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. They sit in my office, discouraged, convinced that what's gone is gone. And I always tell them the same thing: your body is more adaptable than you think. I've seen men who felt exhausted, unmotivated, and older than their age begin to feel very different within weeks of cleaning up their diet, not because they found a miracle supplement, but because they stopped attacking their hormones 3 times a day. Let me share a simple example. A man in his mid-60s came to see me. He had gained weight around the middle, felt his strength decreasing, woke up unrefreshed, and described a general drop in confidence and drive. His diet was filled with sugary beverages, daily fast food lunches, and plenty of processed meats. Instead of reaching immediately for medications or complicated regimens, we started with food. He cut out sodas and energy drinks, switched his lunches from fast food to home-prepared meals with lean protein and vegetables, and limited processed meats to the occasional weekend treat. Within 2 months, he had lost several inches around his waist, his energy stabilized, and he reported feeling more like himself again. His lab values, including testosterone, reflected that positive shift. Another man, in his early 50s, working long hours and relying on pastries and sweetened coffee to keep moving through the day, was convinced that his decline in vitality was purely age-related. We focused on reducing refined carbohydrates and increasing protein and healthy fats at breakfast. Instead of a sugary coffee and a donut, he began the day with eggs, whole grain toast, and unsweetened coffee or tea. He replaced afternoon candy bars with nuts and fruit. The result was not a sudden transformation overnight, but over several weeks he noticed fewer crashes, more steady energy, and a renewed desire to move and exercise. These changes support hormone production, and his follow-up blood work showed an improvement in his testosterone levels and metabolic markers. I want you to notice something important here. In both cases, the solution was not a complicated diet or a strict, joyless plan. It was about removing repeated assaults on their hormone systems and allowing the body to do what it's built to do: balance, repair, and adapt. Your body wants to maintain vitality. It wants to support healthy hormone levels. But it cannot do that if every meal works against it. So, when we talk about 5 foods killing your testosterone, we're not talking about poison in the dramatic sense. We're talking about everyday choices that, over time, push your body toward weight gain, insulin resistance, inflammation, and vascular damage. Sugary drinks, refined carbs, and processed baked goods. Excess alcohol. Processed meats loaded with additives. Deep-fried, trans-fat-rich fast foods. Each one may feel harmless in isolation, but together, repeated day after day, they create a hormonal environment where testosterone struggles to stay at healthy levels. If you're listening to this and feeling a little overwhelmed, I want you to pause and take a breath. You don't have to fix everything at once. Start with one category. Maybe you decide that for the next month, you're going to remove sugary drinks and focus on hydration with water and unsweetened beverages. Once that feels normal, move on to refining your breakfast choices or cutting back on processed meats. Every change you make is a signal to your body: I am moving in the direction of health. Hormones respond to patterns, not perfection. Before we close, I do need to remind you of something very important. Everything I've shared today is educational. It is not a substitute for a personalized evaluation by your own medical professional. If you suspect low testosterone, if you're experiencing significant fatigue, mood changes, or other health concerns, please speak directly with your doctor. Ask for a comprehensive assessment. Use that information together with what you've learned today to make informed, empowered decisions. But I also want to leave you with this encouraging truth. It is never too late to support your vitality. Your age is not your destiny. Your daily habits, especially the foods you choose, have a profound influence on how you feel, how you move, how you think, and how confident you are in your own body. By reducing or eliminating these 5 testosterone-killing foods, you give your body a chance to rebalance, to restore, and to show you what it's still capable of at any stage of life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment after this video to reflect on your own habits. Which of these foods shows up most in your life? What is one realistic change you can start this week? Share your experience in the comments so that other men know they're not alone on this journey. And if you found this helpful, I invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because my mission is to help you protect your health, your confidence, and your vitality for as many years as possible. I'm Dr. Susan Parker, urologist. Thank you for spending this time with me, and remember, your hormones are listening to your daily choices. Start speaking to them with foods that support your strength, your energy, and your long-term well-being.